Imagine owning a tiny tradable fraction of the Empire State Building, a masterpiece painting, or a high-end bottle of wine. Picture getting a loan against the value of your house in minutes, without ever stepping foot in a bank or talking to a loan officer. This isn't science fiction. This is the next massive evolution in finance, and it's happening right now. It's called real-world asset tokenization, and it might be the most important trend in crypto today. Welcome back to Clever Money Hacks, the place where you gain the powerful knowledge to understand the future of money. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a topic that the biggest players in finance, from BlackRock to JP Morgan, are pouring billions into: real-world asset tokenization, or RWA. In this video, I'm going to give you the simple, clear blueprint to understand what RWAs are, why they represent a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity, the different ways you can get involved, and the critical risks you must be aware of. Are you ready to understand the bridge between the old financial world and the new one? Let's build that bridge. Alright, as we're talking about cutting-edge financial concepts, our crucial reminder comes first. The information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. The crypto and RWA space is new, experimental, and carries significant risk. Always conduct your own thorough research and consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. So what on earth is real-world asset tokenization? Let's make it simple. At its core, it's the process of creating a digital representation of a physical, real-world asset on a blockchain. Think of it like getting a digital title deed or a stock certificate for anything of value. Imagine you own a house. In the real world, that ownership is represented by a physical piece of paper locked away somewhere. Selling it is a slow, expensive process involving lawyers, banks, and brokers. With tokenization, you could create a digital token on a blockchain that represents your ownership of that house. This token is now a liquid digital asset. You could, in theory, sell 1% of your house to 1,000 different people around the world, instantly, with just a few clicks. You've taken something illiquid and made it liquid. You've taken something large and made it divisible. That is the superpower of RWA. And it's not just for houses. This can apply to almost any asset you can think of. Fine art, private company shares, corporate debt, carbon credits, gold bars, government bonds, you name it. By bringing these assets onto a blockchain, we unlock the benefits of digital markets: 24/7 trading, global accessibility, lower transaction costs, and transparent ownership records. So why is this a massive, multi-trillion-dollar trend right now? 3 key reasons. First, liquidity. As we discussed, tokenization can unlock the value trapped in traditionally illiquid assets, like real estate or private equity, which represents trillions of dollars globally. Second, accessibility. It democratizes investment. For the first time, a regular person could potentially own a tiny fraction of a commercial skyscraper or a venture capital fund, opportunities that were previously reserved only for the ultra-wealthy. This fractionalization breaks down massive barriers to entry. And third, efficiency. Blockchain technology can automate complex processes like dividend payments, interest distribution, and ownership transfers through smart contracts, dramatically reducing the need for expensive middlemen and mountains of paperwork. This is why you see giants like BlackRock launching their first tokenized fund on the Ethereum blockchain. They see the writing on the wall. This is a more efficient way to build financial markets. Let's look at a few hot areas within the RWA space. One of the biggest right now is tokenized US treasuries. This is where projects take ultra-safe government bonds and put them on-chain, allowing people in the crypto world to earn a stable, low-risk yield from a real-world asset. It's a perfect bridge between the stability of traditional finance and the technology of DeFi. Another massive area is private credit. This is where businesses can get loans directly from pools of capital on the blockchain, bypassing traditional banks. Protocols in this space allow investors to lend money to real-world businesses and earn a yield. all facilitated through the blockchain. All right, this is a deep topic, and you're doing great keeping up. If you're starting to see the power of bringing real-world value onto the blockchain, take a moment to hit that like button. It's a powerful signal that this educational content is valuable, and I want to hear from you. Comment below. What real-world asset would you be most excited to see tokenized? A sports team? A famous landmark? Let's see some creative ideas. Now, how does this actually work? Let's keep it simple. Usually, a company will create a legal structure, a special purpose vehicle, that holds the real-world asset in custody. This company then works with a technology partner to issue tokens on a blockchain that are legally backed by that underlying asset. The value of the tokens is directly tied to the value of the asset in the real world. This process requires a ton of legal work, audits, and technology to ensure everything is secure and compliant. It's a complex process, but the end result is a simple digital token that represents real-world value. Of course, with great opportunity comes significant risk. This space is new and experimental, and you must be aware of the dangers. First, there's smart contract risk. The code that governs these tokens could have bugs or vulnerabilities that could be exploited. Second, there's oracle risk. An oracle is the service that feeds real-world data, like the value of an asset, to the blockchain. If this data feed is corrupted or inaccurate, it can cause huge problems. Third, and most importantly, there's centralization and custody risk. You have to trust the company that is holding the real-world asset. Is the asset really there? Is it properly insured and audited? You must do deep research on the reputation and security of the project's team and their partners. And finally, there's regulatory risk. The laws around tokenized assets are still being written all over the world. A change in regulations could dramatically impact the value and legality of these tokens. So, RWA tokenization. Is it the next big crypto trend? All signs point to yes. It is the essential bridge required for the trillions of dollars in traditional finance to start moving onto the blockchain. This powerful new trend is being built on top of the very platforms we discussed in our last video: Bitcoin versus Ethereum versus Solana. Smart contract platforms like Ethereum and high-speed networks like Solana are the foundational layers where these new tokenized assets will live and be traded. If you want to understand the base layers of this revolution, I highly recommend watching that video. I'll link it for you. Understanding RWAs is no longer optional for anyone serious about understanding the future of finance. It represents a fundamental shift in how we think about ownership, liquidity, and value. The journey is just beginning, but those who take the time to understand it now will be miles ahead of the curve. If this deep dive into RWA has armed you with new knowledge, show your support for the channel and hit that like button. If you are committed to staying ahead of the curve on the biggest trends in finance and crypto, then make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. And finally, let's make this real. Comment below and tell me, what is the biggest question you still have about RWA? Thanks so much for joining us today on Clever Money Hacks. Our mission is to provide you with high-quality and valuable information to help you take control of your financial future, one smart decision at a time. Make sure you're subscribed and have those notifications on, because we're always working on new content to bring you more clever money hacks and actionable financial tips and tricks right here on Clever Money Hacks. Until then, stay curious and keep making those clever money moves. Bye for now.